Mop,
It's literally like you're
mop,
bouncing.
mop, mop,
It's a
mop.
bouncing testicle.
Especially.
Hey there guys, TPC Guy here with the second part of the Hivemind mount guide, which well details how to obtain this mount, which is a mount that you will need 5 people to get. And I have had the first part of the video up for a while, and this will be the second part where you actually finally get the mount. For this part you need to have completed the first part of the guide to get the monocles, and you do need a party of 5 people, each one with at least one of the monocles. This part takes place in Suramar. You need each of the people with the monocles to find one of the special non-aggressive withered mobs that are running around. I will put the coordinates on the screen, and you need them to equip the said monocle corresponding to the color of that withered. You can see the color that you need by looking at their eyes, or also at the first letter of their name will match the color. The 5th person needs to make their way to this building in Suramar, also coordinates on your screen, where on the upper floor you will find these beams of light while blocking the way into a door. Once the people with the monocles equip the corresponding monocle, those withered will become attackable. When they reach 0 HP, they will start casting draw power for 6 seconds. The objective here is to have them all cast draw power at the same time, all 4 of the withered in different locations, and while they do the draw power, the beams in the door will disappear. When all 4 beams are gone, the person at the door can run into the room. Once inside the room, provided you have your Talisman of Treasure Tracking equipped, you will find a cat behind those pillows. Click it and you will take damage and be teleported out. The total amount of damage that you take should be visible in your log, and it is very important because you will need it for the next step and you need to know exactly how much damage you took. For the next step, your entire group needs to go into the Court of Stars dungeon, and inside, at the 5069 coordinates, you'll find a house with 5 cats running around. The damage that you took in the previous step relates to how many times you need to pet the cats to actually get the portal open to the next step. If you took, for example, 12,345 damage, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you need to pet Mrs. Fluffy Muffins once, Shadow twice, Mew 3 times, Ash 4 times, and Bella 5 times. So basically, each decimal of that number corresponds to a cat in that order. The pet buff has a time and they need to have the correct number of pettings at the same time, otherwise, well, just start over with the petting. It's not very difficult, just requires you to have the timings right. If the damage you take was less than 5 numbers, for example 1234 damage, just add a 0 on the first cat, so you would not pet Mrs. Fluffy Muffins, for example. Once you get that correct, a portal will open taking you to the next step. You need as well the Talisman of Treasure Tracker equipped to actually see the portal. The next part consists of a jumping puzzle where all the players need to make it to the other side. The platforms will appear or disappear based on the moves that you make, so it is possible to do it via trial and error and just, trying to find a pattern. However, there are a number of solutions that should by default work for every group. I'll put one of the solutions here in the video. You can pause the video and look at the screen to see what you should do. The numbers correspond to the order of the players that go in. Not necessarily the number. There is no number assigned. You can just the first player that starts is number 1. The second one that goes is number 2. And while F is forward, L is left, R is right, and B is back, which should be pretty self-explanatory and should get you to the other side relatively easy. Once all 5 of you are at the last platform on the edge on the other side, just click exit vehicle and you can continue with the puzzle. The last puzzle is possibly the trickiest one, since there is no actually fixed way to do the puzzle that you can write on a guide and just follow. There is a way, but you need to identify the players that need to play each role. It is basically a crossing puzzle. You have 5 people that need to get to the other side. One person is a fixed point, so let's call it an anchor, and that person will always need to stay on the floating disc that carries you above the lava to the other side. You need at least 2 people on the platform at each time, all to cross, and well, you will need to have a person that always goes, that anchor, and then a person that accompanies it, just to be able to switch when you take and leave one person. And well, you need to ferry people back and forth with compatible groups. Not every group will work. You will first need to determine by trial and error which are the 2 people that can go together, and then you have to start ferrying people back and forth, dropping one person on each side, and sometimes ferrying people back to actually be able to make the puzzle and get everyone to the other side safely. Can be a frustrating puzzle to wrap your head around, but here's a nice little diagram to help you visualize what kind of well, back and forth you need to do once you finally identify which person is what into that order, let's call it. Can be a frustrating puzzle once again, but once you are with all 5 people on the other side, you are done with the puzzle. You can walk in, click on the Hivemind mount, each person stands in a circle on channels, and the mount is yours for the taking. You can then repeat the whole the last part that with the puzzle, since the cats and the beams. You can repeat it with other people, so you can all share a hive mind lock and you can all jump into each other's mounts. At the start, you are only attuned to the people that you did it with this last spot, but you can do it with other groups, repeat it to get attuned to their hive mind as well. It is a pretty funky mount, which lets you do some very interesting things, and while being a difficult puzzle, it definitely is worth the try. Hope this guide has been helpful for you guys. Like and subscribe if you had some use and if it helped you get your mount. Otherwise, check your other videos. Maybe there's some other content for you. This has been Epic PC Guy. Enjoy your mount and have fun. I'll see you later.